So just ahead of the Eagles and Cowboys' huge NFC East rivalry matchup, Eagles safety Kevin Byard issued a warning for the Cowboys as he explained what the Eagles defense must try and do to shut down this Dallas offense, and there's plenty of guys on that side of the ball for the Eagles that are ready to ruin Dak Prescott's day. Also, Kenny Gainwell finally spoke on DMing a fan on Instagram at halftime during the Commanders game, and what he said was really interesting. Meanwhile, Jalen Hurts is looking to continue his dominant play that has firmly put him in the MVP conversation, as he will try and lead the Birds offense to another explosive day, but one of the keys to that will be shutting down Micah Parsons. So how do the Eagles plan to do that? And just in general, what are the keys to the Eagles coming out of their battle with the Cowboys with the statement win? But we're going to talk about all that in this video today, so let's not waste any time and get straight into it. So before we get into this Eagles and Cowboys matchup, we got to revisit probably the weirdest story that came out of the Eagles win last week, being that apparently after struggling in the first half of the game and fumbling near the goal line, Eagles running back Kenneth Gainwell went into the locker room and he went on his phone where he saw an Instagram DM from a fan calling him a bum, in which he then responded telling the fan not to text him. And Gainwell took a lot of heat for this. For one, a lot of people, including myself ever since the game, have been really critical of how Kenny played and how he's really played all season, but also it didn't sit right with most fans that he was DMing people back at halftime when he shouldn't really be worrying about the outside noise like that to begin with. Instead, at that point, he should be locked in on the game and focused on putting his best foot forward in the second half. Now, the day after the game, Nick Sirianni revealed that the coaches of course did talk to Kenny about this, and they essentially just told him that he can't be doing stuff like that, he can't allow the outside noise to get the best of him, and Sirianni also revealed that Gainwell, quote, knows he made a mistake. And that's really all we heard on that, until Friday when Gainwell finally got a chance to speak on it himself, and he not only explained his actions, but he also took full accountability for them.
So what compelled you? Do you normally look at your phone at halftime?
Yeah, I always look at my phone at halftime. I either text my parents or text my girlfriend, so it's just a thing I do.
And then how did it pop up?
Just a wrong click, and I just got mad because I was already upset with myself, fumbling right before halftime. So, it just was the heat of the moment. It was something that I shouldn't have done because I'm a public figure and I take that responsibility. But just taking the stand for it and just understanding that I gotta be better.
So that's exactly the type of response you want to hear from Kenny, and I'll give him credit for taking responsibility. I mean, he knows that he messed up, and he just has to be better in the future, and that also holds true on the field, as with Sirianni continuing to back Gainwell as the running back number 2, and with him certainly going to get a good amount of touches against the Cowboys, he just has to be more productive than he has been all season with the touches he does get, and I really hope he can be, and I'll be thrilled if he does have a better game, but I'm just not too confident based on what I've seen up to this point in the year from Gainwell. But hey, that's just my opinion. Let me know yours down in the comments below. Do you think Kenneth Gainwell can have a bounce back game against the Cowboys? Now, speaking of running backs, it seems like RB4 Rashaad Penny will actually get to suit up for this game against the Cowboys, with Boston Scott being listed as out for a personal reason, so I hope everything's okay there and Scott isn't going through anything too bad. But for Penny, this may finally be somewhat of a small opportunity for him to contribute. I mean, if he does get the snaps Scott usually would get, that's a very small and limited number, but even if Penny does get a couple touches, who knows, maybe he can make something happen and earn a few more snaps. Probably not though, to be honest, but at least he does get to suit up. Now, someone else who thankfully gets to suit up is of course QB1 Jalen Hurts, as he missed the Birds' last meeting with the boys last season on Christmas Eve while dealing with an injury, but now coming into this game, he not only is healthy for the most part, as he obviously continues to battle through his knee injury, but he's playing some of his best football of his career right now, which has gotten him firmly into the MVP conversation, and he may even be the favorite, at least according to my bookie, who has Hurts listed with plus 370 odds to take home the trophy, which is better than anyone else in the entire league at this point. Now, I don't know if I'd list him as the favorite quite yet with the amount of turnovers that he's committed, to be fully honest, but I do think he definitely deserves to be firmly in the conversation with the way that he's been playing recently, especially over these past couple weeks, and also because of the record of this Eagles team this year. So Hurts is going to look to continue his MVP campaign into this game versus the Cowboys, while also getting his first win against Dak Prescott in his career. Now, the two have only met once before, and it was back in week 3 of the 2021 season, and Hurts has clearly gotten so much better since then, and a lot has changed, so we'll see how different the matchup looks this time around, but it certainly will be a tough test for Hurts, as Dallas has the number 3 pass defense in the NFL coming into the game, but good thing the Eagles have possibly the best wide receiver in the NFL to counteract that. As we all know, the historic tear AJ Brown has been on, putting up 40 catches for 700 yards and 5 touchdowns in just the month of October, which earned him the NFC Offensive Player of the Month award, so congrats to AJ, and it's very well deserved, and he'll be looking to continue his tear versus this tough Dallas defense. Funny enough, those 700 yards and 5 touchdowns in the month of October is more than CeeDee Lamb has accumulated all year, and that's not a shot shot at CeeDee because he's been playing well recently and he's had a pretty good season. It's just that some of these Cowboys fans try to argue that CeeDee is better than AJ, and it's just blasphemous. But still, nonetheless, the Birds defense is going to have a tough time dealing with Lamb and this Dallas offense. Dak Prescott, CeeDee, Pollard, and those guys have been looking good recently, and Eagles safety Kevin Byard recently previewed what it's going to be like to face that offense.
It's going to be exciting against a really good Dallas offense. Dak is playing at a pretty high level right now. They're hitting on all cylinders. Obviously got Tony Pollard, who's a downhill running back, one cut kind of guy. CeeDee Lamb's been getting really involved in the last 3 weeks. He's playing lights out too. But obviously they have other weapons. Brandon Cooks, Ferguson's their tight end. He's a red zone threat down the seam, and obviously still got Michael Gallup on the outside. So talented offense. We're gonna have to play really well to beat those guys.
So it sounds like Byard knows the Eagles defense is gonna have to step up their game if they want to have any hope of shutting down this Dallas offense, especially since they haven't been very good against the pass this year, as they rank 26th in that area. Now I do think those numbers are a bit skewed because the Birds have had a few games where they've had the lead late in the game and they let up in the back end, which I still don't love, but there's still no doubt that the Eagles have to be better in that area, just straight up. Luckily, they will have the same secondary for the second straight week for the first time all season, so hopefully that continuity will help. But again, with Dak, CeeDee, and the others playing as well as they have, the Birds know they're in for a tough test. And Kevin Byard knows this is going to be a battle, as he not only explained what he thinks is going to be the key to the Eagles coming away with the win, but he also kind of warned the Cowboys of the Eagles' plan coming in.
I would just say that it's going to be a lot of intensity, not only coming from the fans, but on the field as well. I think for us as a team, we're going to have to out-physical them. We're going to have to play more physical. I think the more physical team, two teams that obviously want to impose their will on teams, whoever does that the best is going to win the game.
So hopefully the Eagles can do what Byard said here and out-physical Dallas. I mean, that's what they did against Miami in Week 7, and that's how they were able to shut down that lethal offense. And now going up against a similarly explosive offense like Dallas, they're going to need to do the same thing. So like Philly Laz on Twitter said, CeeDee better be careful crossing the middle in front of Sidney Brown.
Go to him! Run over him!
And really, the whole defense is going to need to keep that same energy, and Dak Prescott should be worried too, with all those monsters up front that Philly's got on the defensive line, which, as I pretty much say every week, those dudes getting home is going to be a huge key to the Eagles getting the win. And we're going to talk about that and a lot more in just a few seconds, but real quick, I have to say, if you are enjoying this video or you're finding it informative in any way, make sure you go down, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Around 80% of the people that watch these videos are not subscribed. Again, if you're one of those people, you're enjoying the video, you find it informative, and you don't want to miss any others like it coming in the future, make sure you go subscribe and turn on notifications. I think that's a win-win for the both of us. Now, with that being said, let's get back into the video. So for the Eagles to win this game, guys like Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, Jalen Carter, and others are going to need to make their presence felt in this game. They got to hit Dak, they got to make him uncomfortable, and they got to force him into some tough decisions and maybe force some turnovers, which have kind of been few and far between these past few weeks for the Eagles defense. Now, if they do that, they're going to give themselves a really good chance to win this game, and Dak Prescott is going to be in for a rough one. But he shouldn't just be worried about those dudes up front, because we know that if the guys on the back end are playing at their best, they can be locked down, and Kevin Byard specifically is hoping to make a big impact in this game versus Prescott.
Obviously won't be running to the star on this Sunday, but hopefully I get another pick on Dak, and then, that'll suffice for sure.
So what do you guys think? How will the Eagles defense perform in this game against the Cowboys, and will Kevin Byard get his first pick as an Eagle? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Now, we've talked about the defense, let's talk a bit more about the offense, as there is one focus the group needs to have in this game, and that's slowing down Micah Parsons, as obviously we know if you let him, he can wreck the game. Now, in the past, the Eagles have done a good job slowing him down, in large part because of Lane Johnson, but it's going to be a bit more difficult this time around because this season the Cowboys have been using Parsons in a more versatile role, moving him all over the defensive line, including on the interior, so each guy along the O-line is sure to be tested by Parsons a couple times during the game, including the rookie Tyler Steen, who it seems will likely get the start. So this is definitely not going to be easy to slow Parsons down, but it's not impossible. And really, what we've seen the Eagles do in the past is go right at Parsons in multiple ways, whether that be by running right at him. So in this game, I would like to see the Birds commit to the running game with DeAndre Swift and see if they can have success by running straight at Parsons. Plus, what they also have had success with in the past, which I like even more, is by taking him out of plays using the RPO and making him make decisions. I mean, last year in Week 6 specifically, we saw they were able to do this very effectively, so hopefully the Birds do these two things and Parsons once again doesn't have a good game versus the Birds. And really, if the Eagles do all these things and they play clean football like Nick Sirianni has been preaching all week, aka not committing penalties or turnovers, I think the Eagles should be able to come out with a statement win that'll put them up 2.5 games in the NFC East, give Dallas a division loss, and continue to establish the Eagles as favorites in the NFC. I personally got the Eagles winning by a score of 31-27, but what do you guys think? Drop your score predictions down in the comments right now, and also, again, if you did enjoy this video and want to see others like it coming in the future, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Also, drop a like on this video if you did enjoy it and want to show some support. And if you want to watch another video talking about Jason Kelce absolutely praising Tyler Steen ahead of his potential first start, as well as other news from earlier in the week, you can go check this out right here. Now, with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this video, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.